Hello, friends. Welcome to this week's Pick a Card Tarot reading, where you pick a card and together we'll explore its messages for you. If you're new to my channel, I'm JoJo. I'm a spiritual coach, psychic, and tarot reader, and I help people transform their life one card at a time. If that interests you, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and click the bell icon so you never miss an upload. Now let's begin. In case you're new to my pick a card readings, here's how it works. I will shuffle and cut 4 piles of cards. I'll flip over the top card of each pile, and then you'll have an opportunity to pick which card resonates the most with you. From there, I will draw a reading of probably about 5 cards each for each pile, and that will be your reading for the week. And of course, you're welcome to watch all of the readings if you'd like, or just some of them. And please leave a comment and let me know which ones resonate with you. So without further ado, here are our choices for the week. First up, we have the Two of Wands. This is a great choice if you are starting to accomplish some things in your career or job or other worldly endeavors, and maybe you're starting to look out from where you're at in your accomplishments and wonder what is next. Our second choice will be the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups represents new relationships, new inspired emotional bonds with others, and also emotional breakthroughs within yourself. For our third choice, we have the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is someone who has obtained a great deal of achievement in their financial and material life, someone who is a master of their wealth and abundance, and is also a communicator and leader within their family and household. And for our fourth choice, we have the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands is a card that depicts possibly a situation in your life where you have a number of people sort of involved or interjecting, and maybe things are becoming a bit convoluted, to say, or complex due to everyone's involvement. So please take a moment, leave a comment, and let me know which pile you chose for your reading. And so for our first choice, we have the Two of Wands. As I said, the Two of Wands represents a place in your life, especially in profession and your worldly endeavors, where you have begun to sense some achievements, and you are sort of looking past that now as if to say, well, what is next? What is the next step for me in growing this thing that I'm working on and doing? So let's see what other wisdom we can find here in the cards today for you. Firstly, we have the Six of Swords. We have the card of Strength. We have the Five of Pentacles. And lastly, the Queen of Swords. I see the next step in your career or job, or possibly in some other, again, worldly endeavor. I see this next step being a need for you to open up new communication with new people. You will need to convey some important knowledge to some other folks who have not yet received this knowledge. And in doing so, you're going to encounter some apprehension. It may feel a little bit scary to you, and there may be some fear that conveying this message might stir up the waters, that it might not be the most received the best received information. And so the fear is that you may end up maybe even hurting some feelings in the process. Do know that you are strong, that you have the ability to convey this knowledge, to engage in this discourse with these people in a way that is well received, in a way that comes across both intellectually, so that what you are trying to convey is well understood on an intellectual level, but also is received kindly and with compassion, because this new information, again, might be a shock to the people that you're conveying it to. And so have confidence in your ability to do that. The universe is 100% on your side in this regard. And the news itself, the actual content of what you're conveying to these other folks, may seem like not the best news. It may seem to them, and possibly to yourself, that you are perhaps leaving them out in the cold a bit. And this information probably revolves around some sort of decision that you have to then obviously convey to these folks, to this person or persons involved. There will be some fear and perhaps a bit of initial animosity as a response or a reaction to this information. But you absolutely must go through with this. And while the other parties involved, again, may initially react with some fear, trepidation, anxiety, they will come to understand what you're saying and accept it. And ultimately, they will look at you as a better leader and a better person for having the courage to interact with them, to tell them this stuff, to put these ideas forward, and to make this decision. So it's an interesting and challenging week, and possibly a couple weeks coming up for you here near the end of April. But you do stand to gain quite a bit by going through this challenge. Next up, we have the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups signifies often new relationships. They might even be romantic ones. They could also be the discovery of new feelings within yourself, or the transformation of previously negative feelings into something more positive, a new understanding, a new perspective on an existing thing in your life, which is also a relationship in its own way as well. Let's see what clarity we can find in the cards about all of this week. We have the good old Hermit. The Two of Cups. The Hierophant. And Death. So this is quite fascinating. You have this new relationship, and seeing these 5 cards, I'm much stronger on this being something that is some form of relationship, and one that becomes a fairly strong emotional bond, not a casual acquaintance at all. It very much could be along the lines of a romantic relationship, but it could also just be a very strong friendship that you find. And the way this will develop this week and going forward into the rest of the month and into May, really, is thus. You will find yourself taking some pause and reflection. So the universe tells me, don't actively go seeking this relationship. Don't just start going out into the world trying so hard to find this. It will come to you. It will come to you after you've taken some time to step back and distance yourself a bit from the hubbub of your daily mundane life. When you have taken some time to distance yourself a little bit emotionally from some of your existing relationships. And as you do this, you will gain a broader perspective, a more spiritual perspective on your life, and one where you are less sort of wrapped up in that day-to-day stuff. Only once you've done this will this relationship appear in your life. The universe will recognize that now you are ready for this thing, for this relationship. And the relationship, again, whether it's a romantic one or more one of friendship, will be one that you have a strong emotional affinity with this person. There's a strong bond here. The person in particular is someone who has their own very strong sense of a spiritual life. They are someone who has also sort of followed the advice of the hermit and stepped back from a lot of the day-to-day stuff and really taken some stock of and deep thought and contemplation into their life and what their purpose, their highest purpose is in being here on this earth. And so that's the type of person that is going to enter into your life here. What will come of that will not be your untimely demise, nor theirs. So please do not be afraid of the death card here hanging out at the end of these 5 cards. But I think for you, it is the end of you having friendships and or romantic relationships that are somewhat unfulfilling, and finding some people in your life that are more aligned with a spiritual life, with their spiritual path. And you will be on your own separate paths. Those are unique experiences that you're each going to have. But there will be an understanding and acknowledgement between the two of you that you are on these paths, that you are really in the process of ascension. And you are both people who have really started to be mindful of and explore what your highest purpose is in this lifetime and how to achieve that. And so the death card here really signifies new beginnings, because this will be a relationship that you had not previously thought possible. So it will be the end of many of your own doubts about, can I find people in my life who really fill my cup, if you will, and really sort of sync up with what I'm about and my own truth, and will honor that and create space for that, and people that I am happy to honor their experience and create space for them. And so that's a beautiful new beginning for you, a new phase in your life. For our third choice, we have the Queen of Pentacles. And Queen of Pentacles is someone who's well accomplished and well established financially, someone of some degree of physical maturity as well. Although if you consider yourself a younger person, this still absolutely applies to you. It's just where you are in life. But you are coming into some abundance and wealth, and you are starting to feel like you have mastery over it. So you are managing these things well. You are managing finance, your household, and all of the material things in your world, and are really gaining mastery over them. So let's see what that's all about this week. Along with that, we have Page of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, the Five of Cups, and Two of Swords. Many of your labors and endeavors are coming to fruition. In other words, your crops are growing and they're starting to fruit, and you're getting near the completion of a cycle of wealth and prosperity. So you're really just starting to step into this sort of Queen of Pentacles energy, because your crops aren't quite ready to harvest. You don't quite have all of the fruits of your labor, but you can see them, and you need to be patient. And that's really the big message here for you this week, is that patience, which is a very queenly sort of virtue to have. The Page of Cups here may speak to some of that impatience creeping in your life. So you see these things growing, and you see things moving forward and slowly getting there. But something will happen this week that will trigger some impatience on your part. You will feel a sense of urgency. I need these endeavors to pay off today, not tomorrow. That can be a challenging situation. What often can happen in these types of situations for you, and what will the risk that you run into if you are not patient and if you do not pull that back, is a bit of a crisis. You may find yourself suddenly looking for all these different opportunities or changes to make. In other words, this isn't coming along fast enough. I need to do something. What do I do? Oh, I could do this. I could do that. We have sort of the fog of war here in the Seven of Cups. So we have conflicted emotions being stirred up by this whole variety of different choices. Some choices seem better than others. But again, there is this confusion. You are very much in the dark when you go into this place of needing to solve this problem, needing to sort of push and try to make things happen faster. And that is often, so often, a road to ruin. You're certainly causing yourself a lot of stress, and you're not going to get what you want out of it. So again, you need to reserve patience. And if it really turns out that you are faced with a choice in this matter, really try to step back from it. Really try to, once you're clear on what the choice is, leave it alone for a few days. Really try not to think about it. Do some things that distract you from that for a little while. Don't avoid it forever, but give yourself some time to pull back from that frantic sort of problem-solving mentality. I have to figure this out today. I have to figure this out right now. I have to make this happen immediately. That's not where prosperity and abundance come from. So pull back, give yourself some space, sort of blind yourself to this stuff for a little while, even just a few days. And when you come back to making some decisions about it or looking at the situation again, you will have a more balanced understanding of what's going on. And that patience and that clarity of your situation will come to you. And through that, you will make the right choices, or probably in most likely case, to not make a choice or change anything, but the decision to stay the course. And that's what you're facing this week. as you go forward. Finally, for your last choice, we have Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands is sort of a card of, well, I often characterize it as the too many cooks spoil the broth card, if you've ever heard that old saying. And it's a card, often people interpret this as conflict, as some sort of like battle amongst a whole bunch of people at once. But we lose sight of the fact that Wands is really about doing. It's, again, we always go back to like career and job, but it is really, the purposeful endeavors in your life. And in this case, you have a bunch of people all working on the same endeavor. If you've ever seen the meme, sometimes I post it myself, people will title this card Stupid Tent. In other words, you and 5 of your friends are all trying to pitch this big tent to go camping under one night, and you can't figure out how to do it. And everyone's trying to put up a different pole, put a different stake in, and tie a different rope, and it's just not coming together. So I always love that sort of meme for this card. So that's your situation this week if you chose this card. Something about that clicks with you. And so let's go forward and see what that really is all about. So we have King of Swords. So there's definitely some conflict there. The Ten of Swords, more conflict. Seven of Wands. And Ten of Wands. This sort of tumult that you're dealing with that's involving these other people, I sense that what precipitated this, or what will precipitate this, if it isn't already appearing in your life, is yet another person will interject themselves into this situation. And this will be the genesis of this sort of conflicted claptrap, if you will. All of this sort of cluster of a mess that you're dealing with. This person will sort of, it will just sort of come charging in. Again, it's the Knights, so there's a sort of a forceful thing going on there. The sudden arrival, and with it, the beginning of this conflict. And a lot of the conflict will arise from this sense of betrayal. Perhaps you may feel that this person stabbed you in the back, and maybe some of the other people involved in this situation, if there's even others, they may feel the same way, or they may sort of take up your side of the conflict on your behalf, feeling like this person betrayed you. So we see that creeping in and being a big part of the upheaval of this. As the initial shock of this conflict and chaos sort of rides through and subsides a bit, you will gain a sense, and this is the universe's advice here, that you should probably take a pause from this endeavor. In other words, maybe you're trying to move too quickly in what you're trying to achieve, which is maybe why you got all these people involved with to begin with, as a way to try to hasten your efforts, which is a perfectly reasonable way to, get more done, if you will, is to get others involved and get their help. But ultimately, what you've really done is you've made this situation very convoluted. And so the universe is telling you, hey, hold up here a minute. You need to rethink how you're going about this. So really take a pause, kind of like with our last reading, the previous one. Take a step back, really look out into the world, look at the situation and what you're trying to do, and really examine the dynamics of that and the other people involved as well. And if you really sit with yourself and meditate on this and really listen to your heart and your intuition, what you'll find and what you'll discover is that you are far more capable of doing this work, that you have an incredible capacity to carry the burdens of this endeavor. You're much stronger than you can even imagine. And the universe wants you to know that, because what you're really looking at as you step back from this is simplifying the situation. And ultimately, you may wish to decide the best decision for you to sort of resolve this will be to remove some of these people from the situation and essentially begin your endeavor again on your own, because you do have the ability to do that. It may seem very hard and burdensome, but if you take a more aligned approach, one that is a little more in touch with your higher purpose and self, and with some fresh eyes, you will be able to do all this on your own, or most of it. And that's how you're going to resolve this conflict, is essentially to get some of the cooks out of the kitchen. And so that's what lies ahead for you in the next week or so. So I really hope these readings clicked with you this week. Again, please leave me a comment and let me know what has worked for you, what hasn't, or if you have other questions about this. And if you'd like to explore any of these or any other topics in your life more in depth, I do offer a number of ways to get personalized readings. And you can find out about all of those by using the links in the comments for this video or in the description for my channel. So thank you again, and I hope you have a beautiful week.